today we are going to have a practical 5, which is digestive system. So basically, today we are going to observe a slide. All the slides have 10 slides. And firstly, my name is AMANINA NAWWARAH binti MUSA, and my friends.
ZAWANI binti SAPARI with metric number 190152.
My metric number is 190364.
Okay, so firstly, we are going to observe large intestine, which is common under the microscope. So now, we have to put it in the microscope. We need to use the lowest magnification first before we can start using until the highest one. Now we have found it, and let me see. Ta-da! That's it. Okay.
Okay, now I will observe the slide of tongue. This part, which is maybe this is. Okay, so firstly we put on the stage of the microscope, and we adjust the stage. And firstly we have to use the lowest magnification first, which is 4 times. And then I can see it clearly, but maybe we can hide the magnification to 10 times to make it more clear. You can see. So this is the tongue digestive system slide. Alright, the first slide that we had observed is a tongue slide. So basically this is the structure of the tongue. So chemically, tongue is a sensitive microvilli of the taste cells respond to chemical stimuli. So if we can zoom the structure of the tongue, we can identify that this is the fungiform papilla, and this is the epithelium of tongue. And then inside of the epithelium, it has the taste bud. Taste bud is basically a neuroepithelial cells. It perceives the taste, and basically tongue is function for its major function is the enabling of speech in human and vocalization in animals. And the second slide is the esophagus wall, and so we close up to see the structure. Basically it's a pink structure, so it cannot be seen clearly, but we can see it. So the outer layer is the epithelium, the second layer is the muscularis mucosae, and the third layer is the submucosa. And as we can see here, this is the mucous gland, and the layer here, only here, is the mucularis externa, and at the bottom of the cell is the skeletal intermix. So basically this is the esophagus. Esophagus is located. Esophagus is a muscular tube connecting throat, which is we known as pharynx, with the stomach lined by moist pink tissue called mucosa. And the function is basically to carry food, liquid and saliva from the mouth to the stomach. And the third slide that we had observed is the stomach wall. This is basically the structure of stomach, and from here we can identify the gastric gland. This is the white thing here is a gastric gland. The part here along here is the lamina propria, and the bottom layer here is the muscularis mucosa, and the last bottom under the muscularis mucosa is muscularis externa, which is contain three layers, which is oblique, circular and longitudinal. So stomach wall is a muscular organ located on the left side of the upper stomach. The stomach receives food from esophagus, so it enters the stomach through a muscular valve called the lower esophageal sphincter. And basically, stomach function as to break down and digest food in order to extract nutrients. So the fourth slide is the small intestine slide, which is, to be more specific, it's the duodenum. So we can see the structure of the duodenum. This is the first layer here is the adipose surrounding intestine. The second layer is the muscularis externa. The third layer here is the submucosa packed with Brunner's gland. So as we can zoom here, the black thing here is a gland, and the rest is the mucosa. And so the function of the duodenum, as we all know that the duodenum is the first and shortest segment of the small intestine. It receives partially digested food known as chyme from the stomach. So basically the intestine is for absorption of digestion of chyme, and the intestine is located inferior to the stomach, the duodenum, and it is part of the gastrointestinal tract. The fifth slide is the small intestine, but it's, to be more specific, is ileum wall. So ileum wall is basically located, is known as a third and final part of the small intestine. It follows the jejunum and ends at the ileocecal junction, and the function is mainly to absorb vitamin B12 and bile salts and whatever products of digestion were not absorbed by the jejunum. And we see the structure of the ileum from here. We can see it is the muscularis externa, which is serosa. The second layer here, so you can see the first. This is the first layer, and this is the second layer. The second layer is the muscularis interna, and this is the submucosa. This is the submucosa, and we can see the villi here, and also the mucosa, and also the mucosa here, and also in the mucosa it has a mucosa gland. So this is the lumen of the intestine, which is as we know that lumen is just like loop here, lumen, and then this is the lumen. Okay.
Okay, so the sixth slide is the large intestine, or the colon slide. Okay, so basically colon is the longest portion of large intestine, which is located towards the end of the human gut. And the principal functions of the colon are reabsorption of
electrocytes and water, and elimination of undigested food and other waste. So, so you can see here, there are a few layers of the colon. So the first layer is actually the mucosa. The second layer is the submucosa, and the lower layer is actually the serosa. Okay, for the seventh slide, we have observed the pancreas slide. Okay, so pancreas is an elongated gland described as having a head, body, and tail. And the dual function of pancreas are related to two structurally distinct components, which is in pancreas we can see the exocrine and the endocrine, or the islet of Langerhans. So the exocrine is actually this one, the round shape here, and the islet of Langerhans is other than the round shape here. And the exocrine component synthesis and secretes enzyme into duodenum that are essential for digestion in intestine. And for the endocrine, or the islet of Langerhans, it's actually synthesizes and secretes the hormone insulin and glucagon into the blood. Okay, the next slide is the liver slide. The liver is located in the upper right and partially in the upper left quadrants of the abdominal cavity, protected by the rib cage. And liver plays an important role in the uptake, storage, and distribution of both nutrients and vitamins from the bloodstream. It also maintains the blood glucose level and regulates circulatory levels of very low density lipoprotein. As you can see here, this is the structure of the liver after we observe it under the microscope. Okay, the next slide is the salivary gland. As you can see here, this is the salivary gland, and the upper layer is the mucosa layer. And salivary gland located throughout the oral cavity within the submucosa of the oral mucosa, in the tissue of the darker labial and lingual mucosa. And salivary gland actually produce about 1,200 ml of saliva a day. Okay, last but not least is the sublingual gland. Small sublingual glands are mixed glands that are mostly mucus secreting in human. The smallest of paired major salivary glands are located in the floor of the mouth anterior to the submandibular glands. So here, the upper layer is the mucosa and the lower one is the serosa.